All right, guys, just another day, but let's talk about something that's pretty obvious at this point. I believe the U.S. is probably in a recession. I don't know about you. I just filled up my gas tank. It was $5.39 a gallon. I put 40 gallons in. That hurt, but it hurts everybody. It hurts every day. Every day I fill up, it hurts. It's kind of everywhere. Everything costs more. You see it all over the place. You can blame Russia, you can blame the administration in office, you can blame COVID, you can blame whatever. But whatever it was, it's here. I think economically it's pretty easy to figure out that if you print billions and billions of dollars that you don't have, you will pay for it later with inflation. So we are paying for it. Politics aside, because everybody's got their opinion, you've got to survive. And how are you going to do that? So I really take this into consideration with almost any business venture or side hustle per se that I try to get involved in. So I've got the dumpster business, as you can see, always going. And this is what I always believe in, is everybody, no matter if the world is ending or the world is thriving, they need to throw away their stuff. You always need somebody to be there to pick up after people. So whether that is construction, home remodeling, home cleanup, people always need to throw away their things. I also have a couple multifamily apartments. My theory, whether the world is ending or thriving, people always need a place to live. So having an apartment always kind of road work just made sense to me. So, and then the third that I'm involved in is people have too much stuff. So storage. I have storage units. I have a shop that I rent out to a company. So people always need to store their stuff, even when it doesn't make sense that they have it at all. So those are my thoughts. There's all kinds of businesses like that. You have your luxury businesses and you have your essential businesses. I try to focus mostly on essential products and services. That, in my mind, is recession-proof and or COVID-proof. That during COVID, it worked out really well. A lot of businesses suffered. At that point, I got in at a very good time because my business took off. So I'm not telling everybody go jump into the dumpster business. Right now, it's almost one of those things you really have to look at and go, is it worth it? Metal prices are so high. Trailer prices are so high. Companies are taking advantage of people and jacking the price up of everything. So if you get into a business like that, you're going to be paying top dollar to get into the business, which means it's going to take you that much longer to get your return on investment. So I'm not telling you to go out and start a dumpster business. That's not it. But I am telling you that if you're going to have a side hustle, if you're going to have anything that makes you additional income or your business, you need to really start looking at your business model and go, is this a luxury or is this essential? If it's a luxury, how can I make it more essential for people, if that makes sense? So really start to think about that, because at the end of the day, this could be a tough year for a lot of people and you just want to kind of come out on top. I'm also a mortgage loan officer, so I write mortgage loans for people. Again, I feel like that was kind of a essential business to be in. People always need to buy houses. With that, interest rates have kind of skyrocketed. They went from 2% an hour, like into the fives for a standard loan, and that really changes the conversation of whether somebody wants to buy a house. I've noticed inventory of houses has gone up significantly, so there are definitely more houses on the market, which tells me that there's also less people probably buying right now, and makes I don't know if being a mortgage lender is as essential anymore, but you know, people will continue to buy houses even in a market where interest rates are higher because they can always refinance later. And that's just my 2 cents, guys. So I want you to really look at your business and go, how can I make my business more attractive because people need my service, not because they want my service? Something to think about. Oh, look how pretty that dumpster is. Got some cars in the way though. Let's play What's in the Dumpster. So talk about a win-win. This dumpster here, the guy rented it for like my 4 to 7 day tier, but he also mentioned when I dropped it off, he said, I don't even know if I'll need it the whole 7 days, so we'll see, but if I don't call you, just come get it on the 7th day. I was like, all right, well, I started getting so many calls for this size dumpster that I just basically called this guy and was like, hey man, I just know that you mentioned that you might not need it for the whole 7 days. Just kind of checking the status of your dumpster. He said, oh, I'm just about there. I just got a couple more things to throw in. I said, all right, well, I've had so many calls for this dumpster. How about a deal? I'll knock $50 off and I come get it tomorrow. And it basically cut his time 2 days short. And he was like, oh, heck yeah, let's do it. So it worked out because I only have so many of these 20-yard dumpsters. And so when they're all tied up, I just gotta, you know, keep telling people no. And in this case, it kind of worked out because I had somebody who was basically begging me for one. And I was like, well, let me just see what I can do. I mean, I can't double book them because then you're not gonna get it. So yeah, it worked out. It doesn't hurt to just sometimes ask the question. People love saving money. So if they know they're not going to need it, what's the point of paying for it to literally just sit in their driveway? Worked out. All right, so you might have actually seen this in one of my previous videos before, but this place might look a little familiar. This used to be owned by my brother, my little brother. He bought a triplex and house hacked it, kind of like I did when I first got started buying my first property. I bought a duplex and house hacked it. So my little brother bought this one. He kept it for a couple years, but once he moved out, he decided that, you know, he was kind of done with it. He had a really bad tenant experience, and he's got something really big in the works, which I won't talk about now, but he was going to use whatever capital he got from the sale of this to fund that. And so I went ahead and I made an offer, and he was like, heck yeah, let's do it. And so now I now own his triplex. So it's 2 units. This is the back side of it. 1 unit, 2 units. I need to get that one cleaned up. I'm basically just tearing out the floor. It's not too bad already. We've got a little shed back here. And then, so there's the 2 units here. And then the whole upstairs is actually a 3rd unit. It goes the length of the house. It's a pretty nice one. Tenants here are awesome. I've got one guy here. He's been here for years. I don't think he's going anywhere. The guy upstairs, he's new, but I mean, he takes care of the grass, he takes care of the yard, and he actually just hooked me up with something really cool. So, I mean, cool for me, not so much for this other guy. I feel bad because a lot of people have been like driving past here and being really nosy, but unfortunately, in the last couple days, his garage caught on fire, and it was pretty, I mean, sporadic. I don't think he did anything illegal. He still lives here, so he didn't get arrested for all I know. But my tenant mentioned to him that, hey, my landlord might be able to take care of cleaning this up once you're ready. And so, yeah, there it is. Huge bummer. There's 2 Camaros in here that were old body styles. There's like another car that was probably his daily driver. And I mean, this is like a 2 garages basically put together. But I mean, it was so hot that it melted this other garage here. It smells like smoke over here. And this garage right here across the street, you probably can't tell, but it has the vinyl on the side of the house is actually melted. It was a hot fire. It was burning pretty good, but like I said, another Camaro. It's just unfortunate. But what my tenant basically said to him was, I might be able to take care of it. Are you the owner? All right, so kind of like I just said, there's a lot of people poking around. So I just cut the video there because the owner came out. And as you can probably imagine, a lot of people keep walking around his house. He was getting irritated. Luckily, you know, I kind of, I defused the situation because he was definitely at a breaking point at that time. I mean, he just lost everything. I should have known better to even walk around the house. I didn't think he'd be home, and I definitely stayed off the grounds of his property. I just walked through the alley. But he said people have just literally been just doing U-turns all day, looking at his house. He's been running people off that have been literally walking in his garage, which is just super inconsiderate. He said he's actually going to get a little bit of help to remove some of the metal. He's going to just scrap as much of the metal as he can because he's afraid that his insurance isn't going to pay out what he imagined they would. It's just, this is one of those examples where you guys really need to make sure you're insured properly, because I mean, that dude just lost everything. He had project cars in there that were near like completion, and that hurts. I let him know that I'd be happy to help in any way I can. He was really, really nice to me once he figured out, you know, who I was. But like I said, you know, people are just been poking in his business for days. But the reason I was showing you that was because A, my tenant is the one who brought it to me, and B, this is kind of what I was talking about with the whole like recession-proof stuff. If you've got the equipment to be doing these things, you need to be adapting and finding other opportunities in the area that you can do work on, because I've got the skid steer, I've got the dumpsters, so I'm able to do that type of work. And it's just an opportunity missed if you don't try to take it. So this is where the extra money is, guys. Demo work, landscape work, that kind of thing. Yeah, that aerial gives you an idea of the mess that guy has, which again, super unfortunate. But I'm gonna head back to the house and move on to the next thing. But I've got one more project to take care of today. It's been a day, so I'm kind of hustling now. Let's just move on. Oh, look at that. We're actually gonna switch from that trailer here soon to this trailer so that we can get on to that other job and start getting that gravel moved. But yeah, I don't like leaving these in the street, but I had to bring it from the shop, and I'm not going to drive back and forth from the shop just to come get trailers and load them and everything. So sometimes this just sits here for an evening and I come back and pick it up. But look at that, my dog wants let out, hiding in the window right there. Hi, Mia. It's been a minute since I've had a, you know, dumpster content video or, you know, hauling video, but it has been insanely busy for me lately, and I've been taking on some just odd jobs. I'm getting calls for things I don't normally do, but if I have the equipment, I kind of bid them out. So I just wanted to kind of touch base on that. Actually, it got me thinking. I just dropped off the guy that's been helping me out. So I wanted to talk to you guys about employees and what that looks like. So for me, it's always kind of been this really hesitant territory, especially because to use my rig, you need a CDL, which means, you know, you need to make sure the person that's driving it is compliant. So if you didn't already know, my truck, 14,000 pound axles, trailers, both trailers I have, also 14,000 pounds. So at all times, you need a CDL. Despite what most people think, it does not matter what your truck weighs or what your hauling weighs. If your axle rating comes in at 28,000 pounds, you need a CDL, because anything over 26,001 pounds puts you in a CDL. So currently I'm driving my flatbed. It's got my skid steer on the back there, and I'm actually headed out to do just a gravel job real quick. I'm gonna lay basically just a gravel pad for somebody before they have a mobile home dropped over there. So before that though, I was actually in St. Louis, Missouri today. I had somewhere I had to be, and I knew I had way too many dumpsters out that needed emptied to kind of, leave, but I had no choice. I had to go. So I have this guy I've been kind of he's been riding around with me, and all he had to do today was take a dumpster that I already had loaded up and take it to the dump it, and come back. And by the time he got back in the morning, I actually got back from St. Louis, and then we rode around together. So I'm basically training him. It is the perfect scenario, you guys, because he actually lives in my apartment building. He is a previous vet. He was in the Marines, and he lives in my apartment, and he has a job that pays him on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, totally open. So right now I'm scheduling things that we can work on together on Tuesday and Thursday. Right now I'm basically training him to be able to do any dumpster on his own, which there's just little things here and there when loading up these dumpsters that you want to know, DOT regulations I want to make sure he follows just in case he ever gets stopped. But he has a CDL because he used to have to pick up wrecked trucks and stuff when he was in the military. So he's got a CDL, and he's got 2 days a week free during the middle of the week, and then he has the weekends as well if I ever have special projects. So that's awesome. And this really just gets into freeing up your time to find other things, because the cool thing is, or just to actually do your own thing too, because I have been so slammed lately that I can't make time for anything. But in this case, all he had to do was go dump it, and it freed up like 2 hours of my day. And then when we got together, we got a couple more things accomplished together. And it just makes a huge difference. I really did start doing the math on it. I was like, okay, if I pay him X, he works, this many hours a week. How am I going to find the money to do this? And then you got to get into the insurance of it, making sure you can afford to cover him on your insurance. There's a lot of little aspects, but really what I have learned to let go of is not being able to afford it, or, hey, I'm losing money. Really what I'm losing money doing is not hiring somebody, because here's the deal. I'm only one man. I can only take on so many jobs in a week. The amount of jobs and opportunities that I pass up in a week because I either only have one truck and there's just me, or because I'm running so many other odd jobs already that I'm passing up other ones. But if I had two guys going, I can accomplish things 2 times as fast, and I can use that time to do simple things like bookkeeping, or bidding jobs for like cleanouts, or bidding demolition jobs. It really changes the conversation. It's not about like, how am I going to do this? It really comes down to, who am I going to do this and when can I get it done by? It's kind of a cool feeling. It really does open your mind to the possibilities. Are there more risks? Yes. Nobody will ever work as hard as you do at your own business. I mean, usually, unless you're a really lazy business owner and you've always just hired people out from the beginning to do your work. But if you really love your business like it's your baby, nobody usually will work as hard as you. And if they're doing 80% though of what you do, they're working 100%. I mean, from a lot of things I've read, if you can get an employee to do 80%, that's pretty awesome. 80%, 100% of the time, that's pretty incredible. So just a thing to think about. All right, so here's what we got. The guy who owns this park is actually in the middle of getting ready to sell it. So he's just kind of cleaning up lot by lot. So he dropped me probably more gravel than I need. He wants to smooth this all out. It's got a pretty good foundation, so I don't want to say he told me to make it pretty, but this is basically to make it look pretty, because it already has a pretty good foundation underneath. There's another lot over there that I might drop a little bit more gravel on, but we got to be very careful. I'm not going to grade it too much, at least not the ground itself, because we got you know, electrical, plumbing, and some waste pipes that we definitely don't want to hit with a skid steer. So I only have about maybe 2 hours of light left. The skid has lights on it, but I don't want to be, you know, checking all my shadows to see how even everything is. So the goal is to get this thing flat, or relatively flat, before it gets too dark, because I do not want to have to come back for this part. So let's get to it. Just in time, look at that. Just a hair bit of light left. It is now raining, of course, but we got it. It looks pretty. This was definitely too much gravel probably for this space. There's a couple ton extra here than it really needs to be. But I mean, we got our edges nice and square. I mean, it looks pretty good all the way down. We rolled the sides a little bit. You know, you've got your foundation, which is flat, but then you rolled the edges a little bit so that we don't have to worry too much about sitting water. This side, this is where the pile was, so that didn't clean up very well, but this is also the parking area, so it's okay if that hangs off a little bit. But you get down here and you can kind of see where I even made sure not to hit the water line. That was my biggest concern, was please don't sever the water line or the electric or a fire line. But this cute little squirrel is marking the water line. He's a little buried though. And then there's your electric, water. I believe that's your waste line. So it'll be easy for the guy bringing the home in now to basically just set it down, put it on blocks, and we'll be good. I think the park owner will be happy. I'm gonna get this loaded on there, and I'm gonna go home, get dry. Whew. Might have squeezed a little too much in today, but I've been to St. Louis, Iowa, Hannibal, Quincy, Liberty, all today between dumpsters and work like this. So this was rough, but I'm going home.